A Bible and belief question for tonight is this. Some say the Sabbath day falls on a Saturday, not Sunday. What does the Bible say? I'm going to try to be as concise as I can, because that's a big question, really. You wouldn't think, but it's a big question. The origin of Sabbath is all the way back in Genesis chapter 2. In Genesis chapter 2, when God created everything, it said on the seventh day that He rested from the work of creation and declared that that day would be holy. Doesn't mean that every other day you sin, but He said that this day was going to be holy. In fact, when He gave Moses the Ten Commandments, the fourth commandment was honor the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. And then He goes into detail about you've got 6 days to work and labor, but on the seventh you're to cease from your normal labor and normal work, and only do those things which are necessary, so that you can honor the Sabbath day. Now, a lot of people would say that of the Ten Commandments, that commandment no longer matters. But Jesus made reference to that commandment when He talked to the rich young ruler, in fact. So something about the Sabbath is still an issue. So the issue of Saturday versus Sunday is probably, I'm sure there's been somebody that's made that discussion even from early on in the history of the church, but it really became an issue in 1863 when the denomination, the Seventh-day Adventists, came together. They began to say, hey, we've read the Old Testament, the Sabbath is on Saturday, not on Sunday. So why do Christians honor Sunday as a Sabbath? Well, let me give you a few reasons. One, it's the day of resurrection. So it was the day that Jesus rose from the grave. And so Christians, even in the book of Acts, began on that day worshiping Jesus and celebrating the resurrection. And by the way, every Sunday ought to be Easter. Not just once a year, but every Sunday is a celebration of the resurrection of Jesus. Number two, in Revelation chapter 1, verse 10, it refers to Sunday as the Lord's Day. And this is, you might hear people use that term Sabbath or the Lord's Day interchangeably. And as Christians, sometimes even they'll refer to Sunday as the Christian Sabbath. And the New Testament Christians would go to the synagogue and sometimes the temple on Saturday, just like they always had. But then they would also gather on Sunday to worship Jesus. So on Saturday, you could hear from the Torah, the Old Testament and the law and the prophets, and you could hear about anticipating the Messiah. But on the Lord's Day, they heard about Jesus, who was the Messiah that came and fulfilled the promise and rose from the grave, and about the Holy Spirit. And so from even the New Testament, they worshiped on Sunday. And so by the time of the book of Revelation, John the Revelator referred to Sunday as the Lord's Day, and it has been referred to that ever since. All right? That was as brief as I can. That might have left you with more questions than answers.